she promised me, never lie to me. I think it could be you.
Linda Lynn presents Could Be You TV.
I just want to say I support that.
Thank
Keep
you.
hustling, keep
Thank
working,
you.
keep doing what you're doing. I support that in any way, shape, or form. You know,
Well, I'm the Naked Cowboy. It could be you, TV. I'm the Naked Cowboy. Look at my boobies.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Or hers.
I got caught. Hi, everyone. Thank you once again for joining us this Tuesday night on Linda Lynn Presents Could Be You TV. Hello, everyone. And my lovely co-host.
Hola.
And she forgot her name because I just said my lovely co-host.
Last time I said my own name, and she was like, but I always introduce you, so I thought you were going to do it.
All right, so I guess we're not in sync here right now. But anyway.
Hi, it's Miss Chrissy.
It's Miss Chrissy and Linda Lynn, yeah, girl. Thank you so much for tuning in. Could Be You TV. For those of you who just are tuning in and don't know what Could Be You TV is about, it is a platform for up-and-coming artists, CEOs, entrepreneurs, any kind of social media influencers who have a story to tell, would like to showcase any, music. We're here for you, so you can always email at couldbeyoutv@lindalyn.com or go on Facebook and follow it there, and on Instagram as well, and shoot us a DM if you would like to be a guest on the show. So how are you, Miss Christy, this weekend?
I'm just fabulous. Wonderful.
So
It's like an extended vacation. I was on vacation. I came back for like 4 days, and
We're-
now
we're
I'm on
gonna-
vacation
we're gonna
again.
actually talk about
Staycation.
that.
It's a staycation.
we're actually going to talk about that in a minute, but before we get into all the good, all the good news and all the positive things that go around in our lives, we're just going to take like a 5-second moment of silence. Our condolences to everyone from the Sri Lanka tragedy, all the lives lost with this bombing. So we're just going to take a moment of silence to give our condolences. Once again, it was a terrible tragedy, and what else can we say? But when does it stop? It's like it doesn't seem to, it's like part of our lives now. It's just like now it's something to expect. It's like you can't go in, you can't even go to church.
No, it's sad.
Now it's the children
scary.
suffering from this. I mean, I'm not even going to get into it. I don't want to. It's just too much to really, grasp, and my heart is heavy and it hurts. Not only that we lose people as it is, but to lose all this, the children who are so, it's just, it gives me the chills. But so our condolences to them, and hopefully, we can put a stop to this somehow. But Miss Chrissy, I need to hear your story. Miss Chrissy here went away for a couple of weeks or a week or so, and then she came back, and now she's like on vacation again. I need to hear this. When I'm trying to fix my Facebook
First
over
off,
here.
I've worked hard my whole life, and I finally I'm at a point where I can actually go away now and enjoy my vacation and take time off of work, go to nice places. I always go to visit family. I always go, more local, if anything. Like if I take off, it was more local. So in the past couple of years, I've been more active in taking trips, and so I took a trip to Punta Cana, which we talked about last time.
Yes.
And then I had actually have a friend come and visit, and never been to New York. And I really wanted to give them the ultimate New York experience and show them, the best parts of New York, because I think there's so many. Actually, too many. Like even in the time
Did you actually feel like you were a tourist in your own hometown?
I did. You know what? Because when you're from a certain place, I feel like unless you're from a small town and you have like one or two things in town that like you go to, you know, New York is such a big city, and I feel
is.
like there's so many places that are famous and like places that are you have to see with your own eyes. Like, you know, obviously the top of the Empire State Building, the top of the Rock, the World
Unless you
Trade
were like
Center.
go on school trips, you
Right,
know, where
right.
take you
It was the last
like
time I went.
right or
I'd never been. So this was actually interesting because they had never been there, and I'd never actually been to a few of these places myself. And the
Right.
last time I was even at the Statue of Liberty was in high school, and God knows how long ago that was.
well, that must
So
be fascinating. It's nice to be
it
out
was-
there
it
doing
was
something
great.
different.
I mean, it was great, and
and
I
this
was,
past day or two, the weather's been nice. So
Well, I planned it out perfectly. I don't know how it happened. I think
just speak to
everything.
Mother Nature or something.
I
Like you
did.
had
I
a-
did.
yeah?
Like I did a God, please just make this like the perfect day, you know. And it worked out perfectly the way it did it. So the first day, I went to the World Trade Center. So we checked out the memorial, which I mean, it's very sad when you go in there if you've never been. I mean, anybody who's obviously heard of what happened at the World Trade Center 9/11, the memorial is there. The museum itself, you walk through, and it just gives you artifact, like just everything you could possibly imagine, like videos and parts of the building, and you're in there, like you're there. That's where
Yeah.
it happened, ground zero. So it was very emotional. I mean, I'm a very spiritual person, and I felt the vibes. I had chills the whole time.
Yeah, I can only imagine for that. I don't know if, you know, hubby would want to even, you know, because he
It's
was
a lot.
actually
It's a lot to take
He
in.
actually was there to experience live as is, and I don't know if you know, if going something
not.
like that
It's
would
not.
bring.
I mean, we weren't there live, but
Yeah.
even being there, like being from New York and remembering the day and remembering everybody's emotions and just how everything played out, being there amongst tourists,
Mm-hmm.
it felt a little, I don't want to say different because I don't know how everybody else felt, but for me, it was very emotional. And I just remember thinking, we were all scared. I mean,
Right.
we were there. We were here. We weren't
Yeah.
there in the city, but we were there. I remember we got let out of school that day, and just remembering just the emotions and the people and people that I knew that lost people, and it
know.
was just very, it was very overwhelming. So a lot of times, like I would look at something and I had to turn away. I had to keep it moving. I had to move on because there was just way too much there to look at and read, and so I mean, honestly, it was a good experience, and I got a couple of good pictures of certain things that I wanted to always
Right.
have to
Well,
remember.
you have
but
a lot of pictures ever since you went on
Oh,
your
geez.
vacay.
I know,
So
I
you know
know.
what?
And then yes, to the
whatever.
Empire State Building. And you, what's funny is she video chats me as I'm at the top of the Empire State Building doing my little
I
360
did.
view.
See?
She got me at the perfect
here.
time. Yes. She got me at the perfect time.
I mean, the connection was a little bit
gorgeous.
poor, but you know, but it did look gorgeous.
You saw it. It
Thank
was
you for
gorgeous.
having me be part of your
Experience?
your touring experience. Yeah.
Top of the world experience. It was breathtaking. And I hadn't been there in, I think, like 13 years.
Yeah.
And it was a very different experience because I went at night the last time I went. This time I went during the day. It's a whole different
Really?
whole different experience.
Well, I'm so happy and I'm glad that you got to, you know, experience all this, and you know, maybe one day I'll do it in-house, you
And then
know.
the Statue of Liberty. I have to tell you what happened.
What happened?
So, okay. So, you know when you're trying to show somebody a good time, for me it wasn't like a big deal. The Statue of Liberty, okay, ooh, I've seen it a million times from the bridge, driving by, whatever. I went years ago. So we're on the ferry, and we took a ferry that just went around the Statue of Liberty. We didn't
Right.
actually get off at the Liberty Island and do the
Right.
walk in Ellis Island, which wanted to do, but it was so bad out yesterday. The weather was really, really bad. So we were like, we'll do the thing where we stay on the boat, and everybody gets on the boat. You stand where you stand or you sit where you sit, you know, first come, first serve. Okay. So people start getting up, they're walking around, they're standing wherever. So me and my friend were like hanging out on the edge of the boat, and we're looking over, looking out at, like we had literally the perfect view. Like we were right there and sat. And this lady comes and sits down behind me and tries to tell me that I'm in her way and I need to move because she was there first. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry, but you weren't sitting there when I was, like when I came over here to stand here, because even my friend was
You
like, why
still
don't you
cause trouble even when you don't cause trouble.
I wasn't
It doesn't-
causing
you-
trouble. I was
Okay.
defending myself, but this person would not stop like making comments behind my back, like commenting on my ass. I need to do squats. I think who I,
love
am. So yeah, I kind of had to, you know, they learned real quick that I wasn't a tourist and I was from New
were
York
the-
because
you
I
showed
turned
them the
around
true
real
New
quick.
Yorker?
I turned around real, and I was very listen. I got to a point where yes, I had to like throw a couple of F-bombs out there. But at first I was like, ma'am, like, you weren't here when I came over here. We paid for, you get up and you leave, that's not my fault. If she had like approached it differently, it would have been one thing, but she just got really nasty really quick, and then she ran her mouth, and I showed her
So
real
to
quick.
that lady,
Yeah, but what
right.
was funny was after that happened, I went down and I sang karaoke, and pretty much the whole boat loved me after that anyway. So.
well, there you go. You see, music
It
always
was
brings
funny.
everyone
It did.
together.
And I was like, and I just want to dedicate this. I was singing, they made me sing Whitney Houston, I Will Always Love You.
Oh my God, probably right up your alley. You love
Yeah.
that. Oh.
And what's funny is I go, and I just want to dedicate this to the woman up top who started with me for no reason.
Oh my God, you must have had a couple of drinks on you already, but
I didn't.
But listen, you know what? I'm so happy that you went through all
It was
that.
fun.
And before we get into our very special guest that we have on a Skype interview today, I'm so excited. I just want to give a quick shout out to my team. Oh my God, this past weekend I had an amazing time because I also had a photo shoot. Actually to do the cover for
Yes, girl.
for my new single that will be dropping soon. Who's that girl? And I want to give a big shout out to the BMJ studio staff. A King and
Love them all.
Angel.
I love them all.
And yeah, absolutely. And Melissa.
It's a good
and,
team. You got a good team behind you,
Yeah,
and they're
I
very
also-
good at what they
and
do.
I also want to give a big shout out. Do we have a picture of my girls that absolutely like held me down? Felicia and Reem. This was a sneak preview. This was the only thing I was able because they were just gonna kill me if I
is that
showed
like
any
your?
preview.
Is that your chest? What is that sticking out?
That is the bodysuit. It's a bodysuit. I'm at an angle where. But yeah, so that was the only photo that I kind of like preview just to show,
Very cute.
So I'm excited for these photos. I can't do a sneak preview or anything like that. I'm anxious.
Go,
but,
girl! Look at you! Ooh, look at that leg!
But
Look at that meat.
yeah, right. Well, hey.
Well, I mean, listen, you're a sexy woman. You got a great body. Why not show it off, right?
Well, thank you. Sometimes, But anyway, so that was that. But I just want to say that I heard a very, very disturbing news before I left the house.
I didn't do it.
That I know you didn't do it because you were doing something else. But of that lady in California who they actually caught on videotape actually dumping a bunch of puppies in a plastic bag into a dumpster.
No, I
How
didn't see this.
sick.
I
Yes,
didn't
it
see
is
this.
all over the news. Thank God that she got arrested. Oh my gosh, she should get the utmost penalty, whatever it is, because that was horrendous. That was so
I didn't even
inhumane.
hear
You're not
about
even
that.
human. Oh my God. So thank you for that Good Samaritan actually that went out at the same time or heard them and actually saved the puppies' lives.
That's crazy.
So it's crazy.
There's
this
just
world,
a lot of people with
it's
mental
horrible.
illness out there.
She
It
just,
really
you
is.
could see she just came out of her Jeep or her car like she was throwing out garbage with a bag, and the bag was full of puppies.
It's horrible.
Like, oh my God. So anyway, thank God that she was caught, and you deserve to rot in hell. But we're going to be taking a short commercial break, and as soon as we come back, we're going to have this amazing, I want to call him a mogul, music mogul, chef. I don't know what else he has to his repertoire, but I know it's so long that he's going to have to.
Well, yeah, we'll find out from him,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. So when we come back, we're going to come back with Tony Tofad. Yeah, so we'll see you in a bit.
Look
Yay, welcome back. Thank you. So we have a great guest on tonight. I've been knowing him for a while now, and I've been trying to get him on the show, and I'm so excited that he's finally here. Tony, welcome. Welcome to Linda Lynn Presents Could Be You TV. How are you?
What's up, ladies? How's it going? Thanks for having me on. Finally, we got up. Finally, we get together tonight, and unfortunately, I couldn't be there in person, but this is just as good, But I'm I'm happy to be here. How's everything?
Yeah, everything is great. Everything is great. So many things happening, so many things going on. I want, first of all, for those of people that don't know who you are, can you just let them know a little bit of who you are and what you do?
Okay, so I started out as a producer, record producer for 27 years, engineer, mix engineer, composer. I did that for like 27 years. I have maybe over 160 credits in compositions. And then I transitioned, and actually I was an entrepreneur when I started. I just didn't know, but I became a full-fledged entrepreneur, and I'm an author as well. I'm also an associate professor at Long Island University.
Damn.
And right now I do consulting. And also I just started one of my first loves, which was DJing. So I'm resurrecting that DJ career because I never really promoted myself as a DJ because I was always a producer. So I was a DJ just on the low, and then I became the producer. So now I am comfortable in my career where I can just do anything I want to do. So I'm going to resurrect my DJ career right now, and I'm actually doing a little tour this summer. This is my first time actually going out as a DJ. So I have a European tour lined up starting May 23rd for like a month. Yeah, it's going to be pretty fun.
So what's the name we're going by?
It's just Tony Dofat. I don't even want to put DJ in front of my name because that's like I don't even like that. It's just my name is Tony Dofat.
Tony Dofat.
DJ Dofat.
Everyone knows me.
Well, that was good. Look at the way she said it.
Come on, what about DJ Dofat?
See?
And then everybody, DJ Dofat, DJ.
Just Tony Dofat.
Okay.
Yeah, I just like it. It's just catchy, and that's my government name. So yeah,
absolutely. But let's not forget that I be seeing those delicious meals that you'll be posting. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. As you can see, I'm in the kitchen right now. So I wanted to broadcast right here because I just ate dinner actually. I cooked and ate dinner, and I just said, let me just broadcast here. So, but yeah, I have a lot of things in store as far as when it comes to my culinary arts. I started a food blog a while ago. I started a cookbook a while ago, and I started a cooking show a while ago. I didn't quit. I just had to put it on pause because I had a lot of other things that are priority.
Right.
So actually, I am resuming all of that stuff, and I have some things that are about to launch in the next 60 days. I can't really say what it is, but it's definitely going to involve a cookbook, which I'm going to give away. I'm not even going to sell it. I'm going to give it away. I have some products that are coming out, and I also have a website that's under development right now. So my culinary arts is about to go mainstream pretty soon.
All right.
Stay tuned. I don't want to speak too soon, but
can you tell us some of your best dishes?
Happening. It's in the works right now, but I just want to wait until it comes out and surprise everyone.
All right. Well, I certainly want to be surprised, but Miss Christy wants to know.
Yeah, what's give us like a couple of your best dishes. What's something that you think is like your best go-to?
I love everything. I love my main dish. What I really love, I love roast. I love rib roast, standing rib roast, and I love ribeyes. I love steak. But there's not really too much you can really do with a steak because really a good steak starts with a great cut of meat, and then all you need is salt and pepper. So you don't really need a whole bunch of other stuff unless you want to do a blackened.
You don't use adobo?
No, none of my steaks. You just use a cast iron skillet.
Man.
I have a bunch of those in the back. And all you need is like a little bit of olive oil and salt and pepper. That's all you need. Whenever you go to a steakhouse, whenever you go to one of the top steakhouses, that's all they use, salt and pepper.
Wait, she asked you if you use adobo. Are you Latino? Do you have any Latino in you?
Oh, no, I'm black and Chinese.
Oh, okay.
He knows what adobo is. Everybody be using adobo.
Not everybody.
That's a right now. I use it when I use adobo when I make my fried chicken.
All right. There we go. Okay. Fair enough. Well, that's great. Well, I hope to someday,
yeah, maybe you can whip some.
Yeah, we would love to have.
Oh yeah, no, definitely you are because when I start when the show comes out, I'm going to invite everyone down and it's just going to be fun. It's going to be a fun experience. I want everyone to taste my food.
Yeah. And so Tony, where are you located right now? Where are you?
I'm in Jersey right now.
Oh, you're in Jersey. Okay, so that's not too far. So maybe we can set up something. Very and you're definitely going to be in-house. And you can bring some of your delicious meals.
Yeah, we got a kitchen here, so.
Oh, that's dope.
Oh, we're ready. We'll set you up.
Real quick. I come out there and make some steak and some fried chicken.
Yeah, we love food here. So, Tony, stop being so modest now, okay? Now, you're not just like any producer, music producer that's been working, you've worked with pretty big names out there. You have a big catalog of high-profile people.
Yeah, I did a lot of stuff in my past. I'm right now still producing, but I'm very selective. But just to give you a little history of my stuff, I started out with Puff Daddy. That's when he started, and he changed his name, of course. But we started out as production partners, and we produced our first records together. Our first probably 2 dozens of records together. This is way before Bad Boy. This is when he landed his internship, and he was looking to want to make records, and we linked up. And this was our first record together. This is my first production, actually. My first production, my first real production, commercial release. It was Mary J. Blige, You Remind Me remix, and that started my career. That started all of our careers.
One of my favorite all-time songs.
Yeah, so you've worked with Puff Daddy, Mary J. Blige. You've worked
Yeah, we did. What's the 411? So that classic album, we were responsible for merging hip hop and R&B and giving that unique sound in the 90s. So yeah, we started that, we crafted that, we curated that sound, and it's still going on to this day. But that launched my career, and it got me production. After that, I never stopped working. So I did Heavy D, I did Jodeci, Mary J.
Oh, well, our favorites. They're like basically all our favorite artists from the 90s.
If I could listen to one genre for the rest of my life, it would be exactly what you're talking about, because that's my favorite.
So I did all that
R&B.
stuff, and it was just the passion that just kept me working, and I didn't really do it for the fame. I didn't do it for Billboard charts. I didn't do it to be in a video or anything. I just did it because I love music, and
of course.
It was just satisfying just to make music and watch people dance to it.
So when people hear the name Tony Dofat, what is that you want them to remember? Like, what do you want that name to be attached to as to what is that you've done in your career or that you're doing? What is the main thing that you want people to remember you by?
Oh, yeah, I'm a diligent person, definitely entrepreneur, creative, and I like to have fun. So I turn anything into fun. So I can do whatever it is. If it's boring, I'll just turn it into fun some kind of way and just make myself enjoy it. So it's all about, at the end of the day, taking something and having fun while you're doing it. So I think that's why I started doing things that I thought were boring. Like, I never thought I would write books because I never liked to write and I never liked to really read. But I did, and I ended up writing 4 books. So
wow.
4 books right here. These
Look
are classes that I teach as well. So this is a passion. I turned it into fun. I wrote about something that I really enjoy. This is Business and Fundamentals, music production. My first book, this is a class that I teach. And I also, when I do master classes, I lecture and I do book signings all around the world. So I'm actually doing one in Paris on the 24th, a master class, and I'm going to bring that book out.
Paris. We have a friend in the house who's from Paris right now.
Oh, yes.
This is become an entrepreneur in the music business. This is another class I teach. Business music entrepreneurship is a grad class that I teach at LIU Brooklyn.
Look at
This
that.
is 50 laws of music production and engineering. So this is just something that I just felt that I needed to write, because a lot of people don't really have studio etiquette when they go in someone's session or when they first enter the music industry. They don't really know, they don't really know what to expect. So if you read this book, well, this book is definitely for that up and coming or new artist or producer or someone that's going to be around the studio.
Yeah.
The things that you really need to know, questions that you really need to ask, that you really need to ask your lawyer, questions that you really need to ask your label, and whatever. It's just 50 laws of music production and engineering. So anything in that area is definitely in that book. And then I have Introduction to Digital Audio. This is another class that I teach also. So this is a Pro Tools edition, and this is entry-level Pro Tools or Intro to Pro Tools. I teach you what you really need to know to get Pro Tools up and running. When you see the Pro Tools book, it's going to be like a couple of books stacked up. So I just basically go through all those books, and I narrow everything down and give you everything, all the resources that you really need in order to get Pro Tools up and running.
You know what's
but
so funny
you don't
is that
really need to know the full book unless you want to get certified. So
that is amazing. I think I'm gonna have to pick up that book myself because I mean, I'm not I don't follow instructions very well when I read. So I do have a studio and I use Pro Tools as well. But I do your very, simple recording, a very light mixing, just enough
Yeah.
to create, a small demo type or samples, I
Yeah.
guess sometimes I thought about maybe getting deeper to really know how to mix my own, but it's a
Yeah.
little complicated, if you're not, you need a lot of time dedication to really, I have semi ADD and I can't sit still, so I'm just
But
like,
yeah, no, this book is very, very, very simple.
why your
This is
computer's on.
this is based on my 14-week semester at LIU. So I broke it down into chapters, and this is just going over the essentials of of Pro Tools and digital audio and what digital audio is and how to actually begin a session and how to record successfully. And
that's amazing. So where are these books that anybody who would be interested in finding them?
they're everywhere from Barnes and Noble and everywhere. But being the entrepreneur that I am, I prefer you go to my website, which is TonyDofat.com, because I keep like 90% of the revenue from there. But if you go to a retailer, of course,
Right.
I only receive maybe 30 to 40%. But if it's
Right.
more
So why don't we
convenient
just
for us to have-
promote? Go to your website. What is
If you have Amazon Prime, I totally
TonyDofat.com?
Or if you're near Barnes and Noble or whatever, you can just go there. But if you really want to support me, you can go to TonyDofat.com and just go to merchandise. I believe that is the name of the page. Go to merchandise or store, I believe, and just click on that. You're gonna see the books there, and just it'll take you directly to my distributor, and you can buy it directly from the distributor.
That's
A
awesome.
distributor is Ingram Content Group. That's one of the biggest distributors in the world, and they are distributing my book. So it's pretty cool.
Wow. So I want to give a quick shout out. Also, we have a dear friend, local here in Long Island, and he goes by the name of DJ Chef. Well, he does the same. So he's a chef, but he also is a DJ. So he would go out and he does his events, and he cooks and DJs at the same time.
Oh wow!
So that's a unique concept there. So
Yeah.
yeah, and he's it's amazing because I guess you get recognized for certain uniqueness, in
Yeah.
concepts, and if you can pull something off like that, so
I
that
like
sounds
that. I
something
like
like you would
that
do.
idea. I'm just my only concern would be like, all right, because when I cook, I wash. If I don't use these gloves, see, I have gloves right here. I'm in my kitchen, so I have gloves.
Okay.
So if I don't use my late black gloves, then I wash my hands a million times. So I don't know, like, if my hands are wet or if I have like sauce on my hands or something, and I'm going to touch the records and equipment. So I don't know. I'm just thinking.
I
like,
hear
Tell
you.
you know what that makes me think of? There's this deli that so in my job that I work at during the day, there's like a cafeteria, right? And this little guy that runs the cafeteria, he's so annoying, but he will sit there with one glove on his hand the whole day, and he'll touch money with the glove, and I'm like, what the hell's the glove for?
Yeah,
if you're
exactly.
gonna
If you're
touch money
touching
with the
something,
glove and then
it
make
doesn't-
food with the glove.
Yeah.
Does it make no sense?
I'd rather you use your hands and then wash your hand after each transaction.
He's like, we see you, guy. You're touching dirty money with the glove that you're touching my food with.
Ew.
So I don't go there. Needless to say, I don't go there
Anymore?
But, no, not in a long time actually. But yeah, I was sorry. That made me think of that, and I'm glad you like to change your gloves and wash your hands. It's
Oh, yeah,
important for a
definitely,
chef
man.
or
It's,
anybody handling food.
But so Tony, let me ask you something. Being that you were from that genre from the 90s, where we still hear the music and it's still like brings you memories. How
Yes.
much different do you find that times and the music has changed to what it is now? Like, do you find like with time, I know music changes but nowadays it's like this big debate and always kind of trashing the new music that has coming out, and how do you feel about all that?
That's always going to happen. The older generation is always going to trash the new generation. When I first started making music, the older generation trashed hip hop, and that was one of the reasons why Puff came up with the idea of making a remix. He said he wanted to make music or make hip hop that older people would like, and then he wanted to put singing on it so younger people can sing R&B. So he said, what we're going to do is we're going to have singing and use your hip hop beats to keep the hip hop rawness and the street sound in New York, and then we're going to put singing on it, so we can actually we can cross platforms. And we did it, and look, Mary J. Blige was the first thing we did, and it was a success, and it was a staple in black music. So that allowed both generations to really appreciate it. So one of the things that are going on now that didn't really go on before is lyrical content. So the new music today, there's really no filter on these young cats with especially with hip hop, and then it's trickling down to R&B. Like when you listen to R&B, the lyrics are just as raunchy as hip hop,
Right.
and there's really no filter on that. And me, I'm open, I'm subjective to, I like all types of music. I listen to everything. I critique it. I scrutinize it, and I'm very cautious and analytical when I do. And that's one of the things that I really notice is that the lyrical content is totally different, and it's because of the way of life, how people are living now, and that's I guess that's the new standard, which I think it should go back to the old way, but. That's one of the things I feel is totally different. And sonically, music is different now. Nothing is really hot or played in the clubs unless it doesn't have, if it doesn't have an 808 or a low sub frequency or 50, 60 hertz and below, they won't play it in the club. So that's another thing too, is speakers are optimized for that low frequency, and that is a difference in music as well.
Right.
And lyrical content, besides the lyrical content, then there's substance within lyrics as well, which has degraded since the 90s and even before the 90s, 80s, 70s. So all of those things, and keep in mind, this is just urban music. It's not really the other genres. It's just like the urban music is just like people are just accepting anything and promoting and exploiting subpar material.
So I have a question for you. So last week, I had also an amazing guest tuning in on Skype as well. I'm pretty sure you know who Crazy Legs from the Rocksteady crew is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's a dear friend. And we were having the discussion where I had said that a lot of rappers that come out from, let's say, the boroughs of Brooklyn, or like so-called, quotations, the ghetto or something like that, they always feel like they have that story, that sad, or why they had to go into drugs, or why they had to rob, or and it seems to be a trend with these, with the rappers. So then my perspective on that is, I am a performer as well. I'm a singer. I'm a recording artist as well. I as well was born and raised in East New York, Brooklyn. I too was raised where right next door I had, the crack house. Right next, the other side I had a prostitution, abandoned school. I grew up with a single mom, raising a female by herself. So I was surrounded by all that, and I've seen it all. But I never felt like the music that I did, or that I wanted, that I had to portray myself, all those things, I never felt like I had to say, well, I've seen this, I've done that, or in order to make myself accepted in the music. Is that what it is with the rappers? Do you feel that they have to tell this side of the story? I'm always with the positive, and I'm always, an upbeat person just trying to bring the best. I'm not going to come in and bring in what the worst of my life was.
No, I totally understand what your point of view, but rap is totally different, because rap is street influenced and street oriented music, based on the community and based on your lifestyle and culture. It's a movement. So it's totally different. Talking about struggling, talking about the struggles, talking about the times, talking about real life issues that people in the inner city have to deal with, police brutality, talking about things that other people don't really get a chance to talk about and publicize. Exercising your freedom of speech. That's one of the things that rap and hip hop is really based on. It's going to be a totally different.
Like, I never felt like I had to, I guess, exploit that side of me growing up, just to, I don't know, for people to say, oh my God, like, you're really from there, and oh my God, you went through that, and oh, like, you must be a badass, and, I never felt like I had to tell you what I went through, or what I did, or what I seen, or what, I just, I guess I'm a private person, like, I don't need to.
Well, I think as long as you're real when it comes to music, I've seen some people, because, like, I'm from a borderline. Like, half of where I lived was, considered not a very good area. I'm from Huntington Station, so half of where I live was, you know, on the border of money, and half of where I lived was on the border of being, you know, pretty bad, pretty, you know, violent and crime. And I never felt like, you know, because I grew up kind of in the middle, like, oh, like I think who I am as far as like when it came to music, like I would never sit there and be like, yo, I'm hood, I'm gonna rap and let me talk about my, you know, my bad upbringing, because I really wouldn't say that I had one. You know, I've seen a lot of stuff and I know a lot of people that did do a lot of bad things, but when I see people that try to portray themselves as something that they're not, that's when it bothers me when it comes to music. I mean,
Likewise.
like, you know, girls that like, you know, I'm sorry, but if you're from a rich area where mommy and daddy gave you everything in the world and you've never seen anything bad happen, like, don't say you're a rapper. Don't sit there and call yourself a rapper and try to act hood. Like, to me, that's just being fake. I mean,
Well,
you can do whatever you
they
want.
can't do that, but just
No,
don't, in your lyrics,
I don't think so.
Well, because you're high class, you can't rap?
I'm not saying you can't rap, but I'm saying like acting like you know
Well,
what
they
it's like
can't
to be
write.
hood.
They can't
acting
say-
like you're gangster, like when you're not. Like
Well,
I would
if
never.
yeah. But
sit there
I'm
and
sure
act like
there's a
that.
lot of you know, people with money who like to
Yeah.
rap.
But I'm not
Well,
saying
that's
don't.
going on a lot today. It's like that multiplied by 20, 30, 40. So probably 50% of rappers out now are like that because there are so many rappers out and people are just trying to market themselves. People are trying to brand themselves and they're trying to come up with their own little story. So
Yeah, like,
they're
you see
creating
people
this
like Lady
fantasy that they're
Gaga.
gangsters.
You know, I take for instance Lady Gaga. Like, she grew up in Manhattan. She worked her ass off to get where she is, and maybe when she first became an artist and she came out as as the artist we know her as, she was done up in meat dresses and crazy costumes. But if you look back at the old Lady Gaga, she was really more down to earth and bohemian, and you know,
Yeah.
she studied at some of the best schools. I mean, she wasn't what we know her as when she started out, and now she's kind of like reverted back to her original, like her.
Well,
I guess you
we
would
got to
say type.
differentiate the two as well. We're talking about rap, or we're talking about music, and we have one thing. We have the actual creative aspect, and then we have the the marketing side.
Right.
So the marketing side is totally different than what you are, because let's say you go
Exactly.
to a label and you have your album sounding, and your sound is one way, but then a label will make you revisit that project if they don't feel like they can come up with a great enough marketing plan for that project.
Well, good
And then
thing that
that's
you
where your
say that
image will
now.
kind of get distorted at.
So good thing that you say that. So now, how do you feel now? The new generation now that they use social media as a new platform to like they cut out even the record labels out anymore.
Yeah.
They're like so. You think that is a plus or negative for all these up and coming artists now,
Well-
being from where our generation? What was?
Well, it's a plus for the indie artist. So yeah, indie artists got it for that. But at the same time, there is no quality control. There's no
That's
quality
right.
control. So
100%.
now that little 14-year-old kid that lives at home with their parents in the bedroom clicking on links, that's the person that's dictating what the next hit is. So now putting the hit power, putting that much power into those little kids' hands and people that are just on the web all the time, it's a little scary because you never know what's going to be the next hit now. So
Yeah, look
we
at that
used to
Baby
have a
Shark.
formula and a plan and say, we're going to do a record like
Baby,
this.
Baby
and we're going
Shark,
to get this
Shark,
person on there, and then we're going to push it like this, and then we're going to get a guaranteed hit. And 9 times out of 10, it worked. Now you can do all that stuff, and when it comes out, you never know what it's going to end, what's going to happen, because the underdog can possibly be the hit now, because we don't determine hits anymore. Even if we push the radio and force it down everyone's throats and ears, that still will not make a hit out of something that the fans don't want to be a hit.
Right. So
So
now
at
it's
the
like
end of the day,
more the
throw
fans have
everything-
control.
At the end of the day, you got to throw everything up on the ceiling, and whatever sticks, that's your hit.
I think that it's crazy like how the younger generation really has the upper hand, because
They have a lot of power, and they don't realize it.
like if I went out, I remember, I mean, I used to know every song that was ever out, like, or made. And then I remember a couple years ago, I went into, like, me and my friends, we went out to this hookah lounge, and we felt a little out of place because, like, a lot of the people there were, like, singing along to songs that, like, trap songs that, like, you know, have the dances. Like, every song has, like, its own dance.
Yeah.
And that's what's popular now, is, like, any song that has, like, a dance that people could learn. like
Yeah.
that, and the song could
Like
suck.
the shark song that you just mentioned?
Oh yeah, I was just saying the baby shark, do 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 do. I'm like, how did that even become a hit? Like, I don't know. I get it, it's for babies, but it's
There are
huge.
so many songs that are right now that are hits that you can just question right now. They're
I
so
question a lot.
questionable. They're questionable hits, and and it's just crazy now. So that will outshine the real talent and the real music makers. So someone if kids want to hear something that sounds so horrible and they blow it up, then that's going to take precedence over something that people took time
Right.
and a lot of creative power
Right.
Yeah. And also,
to
who's
put
behind
together,
you?
and it'll get overlooked by something whatever the fans want. So
Yeah.
that's where we are right now.
Yeah.
I get definitely. But so we have this little segment. We're gonna quiz you. And it's gonna be a little fun segment, and we're gonna see if you know any of the. Did you know? We have a segment.
Did you know?
Did you know?
Did you?
Okay.
There's fun facts, and
Okay.
we're gonna present them like now. Can we?
Yeah. Okay, let's do it.
Okay, we're gonna present a segment called Did You Know?
Okay, cool.
Did you know that M&M's chocolate stands for the initials for its inventor, Martin Murray? And did you know people say bless you when you sneeze because when you sneeze, your heart stops for a millisecond? And did you know there's more alcohol in mouthwash than in wine? And did you know that the average lifespan of a mosquito is 2 weeks? And there you have it. Did you know?
And there you have it.
So
Gee,
did
wonder
you
whose
know any of
voice
those
has
fun
it.
facts?
I couldn't really hear it, but no, I didn't know any of those.
Did you know why people say bless you? Because I thought it was because when back in however many millions of years ago, when you sneezed, they thought the devil was taking over your body.
Who said that?
I think there's two truths to that. Bless you.
That's a fact.
I'm telling.
That's
did
a
you
myth.
know?
That's
did
a
you
myth.
know? Because I'm gonna let you know
I
right
did
now.
know that your heart does stop.
Yeah, that's
When
what I
you
heard.
sneeze.
That, you
That is
stopped
true.
breathing or something.
So
That is true.
that is a fun fact. So see, we have true fun facts. But so
cool.
Tony, let me ask you something, because always that we do the show, it's always about that time, because we always have fun and time flies. But what advice and what do you have to say for these up and coming artists, the new generation that are struggling and trying to make it out there in this in this business, that whoever knows anything about it, it's like not a good place to be if you don't know, and that's why you have your books and you wrote your books, so people are more aware of them. But what advice do you have for those that don't really understand it and can be easily be driven by money-hungry people who see stars in their eyes and they'll tell them anything they want to hear? Like, what would you say to them so they can protect themselves?
First thing you got to do is find your weakness and know your weakness and understand your weakness. One person cannot do it by themselves. You have to realize that before you do anything. You have to say, I can't do it by myself. Find your weakness and then delegate that duty to someone else. If you know you're not a good negotiator, you're not a good business mind, you don't have a good business mind, have someone else handle that for you. Delegate that duty, have someone manage.
Mm-hmm.
Then that will make your life so much easier. So that's the first thing. Second thing is make sure you're passionate about whatever you do when it comes to music. Because then the struggle won't feel as much of a struggle. Because once you have enough passion for something, you can overlook a lot of little obstacles. And you'll be like, you're like, oh, that won't faze me, or I'm not annoyed by that because I'm passionate about what I do. So those are the two things that you can apply to yourself. Just starting out right now, it'll make your life probably 50% easier at this point. And then also, just because you can record by yourself as a new artist, just because you do have Pro Tools, does not mean you necessarily have to be the only one in there working on your stuff.
Right.
Because a lot of times when you work on your stuff all by yourself, you don't you can't hear the flaws, or you can't hear your full potential. So it's always good to have someone else record you and work with you so they can guide you and pull that potential, pull the maximum potential out of you and also can correct you when some things may not work or some things may not sound as hot that you think do sound hot. So it's always good to start by finding your flaws and finding your weaknesses and also building your good team. And you find those two, fix those two things, and then your task and your pursuit in this industry will definitely become like 50% lighter and easier to manage and maintain. So just make sure
Are you pro?
do that. And don't be stubborn too when you start. There are a lot of stubborn artists, and if you're stubborn, people don't want to work with you. They're like, oh, it's too much of a headache. First of all, they're not performing right on the song. Second of all, I'm not getting paid what I'm supposed to. And third,
Be
they have an
humble,
attitude,
right?
so
Is that the first
I don't-
key? Be
Yeah,
humble.
so- what was that? I'm sorry.
Be humble is the first key, right?
Yes. You have to be
Keyword.
humble. You gotta let the attitude, leave the attitude at the door and leave it and know when to turn it on and turn it off, but don't do it behind closed doors when you're working with your team or if you're working with people that can get you to the next level. Leave that attitude and leave that cockiness outside somewhere.
That's
Yeah.
right.
We don't want to deal with that. There are a lot of people that shoot themselves in the foot because of that attitude.
Right. So that's a great advice for any of the up and coming artists that want to showcase. And of course, what else? But Could Be You TV is the platform for up and coming artists to come in and showcase, because if once it's discovered, we're gonna be live. We're gonna be, yay! They were here first on Could Be You TV.
Oh my God, I know them.
Yeah, they were on my show
I like that.
first.
I like
And
that.
also, this is a great opportunity to once again plug your books,
Social media.
your social
website.
media, website.
My social media is at Tony Dofat. Everything is consistent. That's the first thing you learn when you market and when you learn how to market and brand is consistency. So my name is at Tony Dofat. My handle for everything, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, is at Tony Dofat. So make sure you just follow me. I talk to everyone on social media. Just be nice, and I'll be nice back to you.
Who wouldn't be nice to you? You're an awesome
Nah, you
guy.
have some people that are just so rude on social media because they're sitting behind a keyboard.
Of course,
They-
everybody's
like,
a
they
tough
just
guy
say
behind
whatever.
a keyboard, behind fake pages, and behind like we
It's
always
funny
have this
though, it's
discussion here. We always say that social media, it was built to have this platform for networking and doing good stuff and positive. But a lot of people just take it to the extent because either they're bored or don't have, they don't know what else to do, and they're miserable, so they try to make other people miserable, and that's not the way it's supposed to be. Like, we're supposed to just get along and just support
Yeah, but,
one
we have
another.
some people like
That's
that
what we're
that
here
just imagine
for.
Everyone else is happy. Then there's someone that's just not having a good day and woke up on the wrong side of the bed, and their whole day is just based on annoying people.
I think they should turn the
making
comment
people
section off.
mad and
I would say
miserable
that.
because they're mad and they just go in there and start talking to other people and just reckless and then
Yeah,
they
it's like, it becomes a feud. Yeah, it definitely becomes a feud. And you see them, especially with the more high profile, statuses and all the comments.
Right.
Now it has nothing to do anymore with what they've posted, but now it's between the commentators going at each other.
With
You're
each
like,
other, yeah.
what happened? Like,
Well, they'll pick on people for anything, like, oh, you're too old to wear a bikini. Why are you wearing that in a picture?
Yeah, and they'll say anything, and half of the stuff
Anything.
is like 90% of the stuff is ignorant. It's like it doesn't make sense.
It's
I
like,
know.
wow, like you must really like be that miserable with yourself that you have
well,
to
people
attack
lighten
other
up,
people.
okay? Lighten up.
Yes.
We have one world,
Spread love.
one life. Let's all get along.
love, not
We're here
hate.
to support and love each other. And with
Yes.
that being said, thank you so much, Tony Dofat, everyone. Please go check him out on his website and check out his books. Buy his books. Be on the lookout for his recipes, his DJing debut. And yes, absolutely. We're so excited. And thank you so much for joining us. And we're going to keep in touch, and we're definitely going to keep talking
Yes.
some more because we have a lot to talk about. But
Thanks for having me on here. I really enjoyed it. You know what? I want to give some free books away. If you can't afford books right now, if you can't afford these, because I'm not going to lie, this book is kind of expensive because it is a textbook for universities. But if you can't afford these, just send me a message and just say you want free books.
All right.
And I'll give you some free books.
See, you
It's
hear
not
that,
an issue.
people?
Y'all hear that, people?
I want everyone to learn.
yes,
Mhm.
everybody go on
Okay.
Facebook, find Could Be You TV or Strong Island TV, and watch the show at its entirety, and you can see and hear all of Tony Dofat's advice. It's very important, okay? So thank you everyone for joining. We will see you next week. Thank you, and everybody have a good and pleasant night.
Yes.
Ciao. Mwah, 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 mwah.
Adios.
Bye.